Hi, Gemini. Welcome to your mid-August reading. Now, it's important to do this reading on the eve of the 11th because as of tomorrow, Venus moves into Leo. For those of you who are Gemini rising, that means that Venus moves into your house of communication. What does that mean? You're able to talk your way into just about anything, and as only a Gemini can tell you, that's not always the superpower it's cracked up to be. Sometimes we talk ourselves into some pretty precarious spots, and other times we are so dogged in our want, our need, our ambition, we just will not let it go. We don't care if it exposes something very vulnerable about us. We just feel how we feel. We want what we want. We see it the way we see it. Very Venusian energy. You know, if there is something that you wanted to say to somebody or some people or some company, or to say in an email, whatever it is, if there was something that you wanted to say that you thought was a little too Libra, a little too Taurus, a little too, you know, a little too Venusian, a little too soft. Not really the Gemini thing. Borders too much on cheesy, right? Not right now. Right now, the thing that you're worried would expose you becomes something that you're not only not afraid of, but you can see how holding back so as not to be vulnerable is actually taking a lot from you. You see things very clearly, and ironically, you seeing things clearly can make the people around you a little bit upset. And let me explain to you why. Because when you're not seeing clearly, you are in your own way so much. You develop and nurture and become proud of bad habits so much, to such a degree, that your stagnation and this Gemini urge to make anything fun, therefore making this stagnation fun, toxicity, addiction, all that, that becomes something that other people rely on. Gemini moon, I'm talking to you. That becomes something that other people can base their celebratory foundation on. Oh yeah, we're having the best time ever. Look at us. Because this isn't our house. This is the Gemini's house. This is the Gemini's house who has all the potential and could do or be anything, thus the dope living quarters here, but has it in their head for one reason or another that they're not shit, or they really can't do it even though they keep doing it all the time, okay? That they've turned that into a fun lifestyle that I can mooch off of, and they'll never even notice because they're so wrapped up in this distraction, this coping mechanism, that they don't even see what they're trying to distract themselves from anymore. They don't even realize this Gemini that I hang out with, this Gemini that I leech off of, this Gemini that I socially climb on top of to get where I want to get. They don't even realize, this Gemini doesn't even realize that this thing that they're trying to hide, this vulnerability, these secrets, all the stuff they don't want us to know, which is why they put on this whole thing and keep themselves stuck. We can see that clearly anyway. This thing that Geminis will fight tooth and nail to not expose. Ooh, you're not going to get the best of me. Ah. I'll never let you know. Ha ha ha. Yeah. These people that live off of you, that use you, that love that you're stuck like this, they know this. You're the only one that doesn't know. Oh, God, it's one of those readings. Oh, no. Oh, bitch, let me pause it. Let me text my friend. Amber going in on us again. What happened? Nothing happened. I didn't make these cards come out like this. I'm just doing more of what I do for the... I've been doing a lot of personal readings lately. And this is how the personal readings are. Because there's no astrology in the personal readings. Not really. A little bit. But when I start... when I start reading intuitively, we get to the heart of the problem. We get to the heart of the thing. We get to the heart of the thing really, really fast, you know, because intuitive reads are just a different thing. I think anyone can read tarot, yeah? But intuitive reading is a different thing. Like, it's like some people can just sing, some people can just write, some people... It's different. It's different. This, my friends, and you deserve it, okay? You deserve it. This should... We should be doing this on Patreon, TBH. But tomorrow is really important. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm just drinking a little water. Now, even though this might be the case, and you are the Gatsby, yeah? Even then, you are not an irredeemable, tragic, flawed hero. You're not. Stop thinking that you are somehow damned. You're not. In fact, starting tomorrow, all the things that you may have been told all your life make you too much. Here's Mercury right here. Hey. Traditionally, from the beginning, associated with Gemini. Hey. All those things that might have been too much. All the things that the teacher wrote in the margins next to your excellent grades. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. A. Wish they didn't talk so much. Wonderful, wonderful, and won't stop talking to the people next to them. You know, all those things that make you naturally this dope-ass Gemini that you are. All those things start to become things that attract. But you've been attracting a lot. You've attracted a lot of success, mashallah, lately. You've attracted a lot of attention. And honestly, you may be rolling your eyes right now like I am. Because you can hear it in my voice, right? Because it's like, yeah, we're attracting attention. And you said our mojo is back. But like, bitch, like it's every kind of attention except the attention that I want. And I get it. Because we be on our hoe shit sometimes, you know? When we get tired of like waiting for the one. And it's always like that. It's so ironic. It's so funny. We like literally will wait years for the one. And then as soon as we're like tired and be on our hoe shit, we'll like meet the one. And we're like, oh my God, why wasn't I on my hoe shit from the beginning? Why do I forget every time? Because we're serial monogamous and everybody knows it. The only people who try to front like we're not are the people that we don't want to be serially monogged with. You know, I know that's not a word. Shut up. Anyway, okay, listen. So, boom. So here you are, and you're thinking, oh my God, she's right. Like, they are playing me, and they are using me, and if I change my mind and start looking at things differently and start being more vulnerable and not distracting myself from these truths that I want to tell, whether they're to a person or a company or whatever it is that you need to do, whether you need to say something out into the air, I don't know, acknowledge something, whatever it is. When you start actually facing that, which as of tomorrow you will, because you just have this channel of communication open from the center of your heart and things are just going to come pouring out.
It's great for you. Venus is very healing. It's wonderful. But it's really quite terrible for the people around you who've kind of built their fun and their lifestyle and a little bit of their clout, dare I say, on your distraction coping mechanism. So when you're no longer doing that, and hopefully, inshallah, August is the door that opens and you never close it, and you just keep walking through to the next door and to the next door, and you never have to revisit this again. Hopefully, those people who made their lifestyle, their happiness, their importance to the people around them based on your coping mechanisms, hopefully when you're done with this particular coping mechanism, those people will naturally fall out of your life, but they're not going to go without a fight. Why would they? They've been getting a free ride while you're distracted, purposefully, I might add, over here, so you don't have to think about what's going on or deal with whatever it is that's really hurting you, okay? You don't even realize how much money is going out of your bank account, how much time you're wasting, how much stuff you shouldn't say that you're saying to people, how many different ways you're making yourself look foolish. You don't know because you're so gung-ho in it, trying to distract yourself for something that you don't have time to now figure out the nuances of like, oh, how much is this distraction costing me? Like, you're just trying to get as many miles as possible fast in the direction opposite from this shit because it's too stressful. And I think that people don't realize this is such a misconception with us. It's not that Geminis don't have feelings. It's that we're not very good at internally processing our feelings. But every time we talk about our feelings out loud, people get shocked, upset, offended, because we don't necessarily have feelings like everybody else. We may, but the way those feelings come out when we talk about them is very analytical because that's how we are. So by the time we express our feelings analytically to you, because that's the only way we know how to be, another part of our brain has turned on and the feeling part has turned off because we've now had to make sense of these feelings to be able to share them with you. But the thing is, if we could internally process them, then we could stay in the feeling center and keep that center on and feel our way through it, as they say, instead of, but we don't know how to do that. We can't do it. We don't have it, the internal processing. So we need to be able to talk out, right? So how do we process when we can't do it internally, but we can do it externally, but it's going to make a different part of our brain light up, and we're going to lose that emotion, that feeling, and it's going to become like an analytical exercise, like an intellectual exercise. How do we keep it in the feeling center? How do we keep it? It was so good. I just wanted to make sure it was still recording. You know how sometimes you're like, oh, I hope this is still... okay, but how do we keep it there? So I think this is what's so amazing about tomorrow is that Venus moves into Leo, and you have this, and let's remember, Vedic Venus moves into Cancer. Okay, so you have this deep channel in the heart that's opening, and you get to bypass that analytical part of the brain, and your heart is speaking, and it's not processing externally. It's not bouncing words off of other people and saying, here, make sense of these words and give it back to me in a way that I feel something, because now that I've had to tell it to you in words, I don't feel shit anymore. You understand what I'm saying? And the person, if they're good at dealing with you, like a Virgo, like someone who like gets it, is like, this is what you're feeling, and then they say it back to you in a way that makes you feel, because you're analytical, so they give you back a bunch of words, and you're like, yes, these are the words, and you get the feeling, and you're like, oh my God, that is what I'm feeling, holy fucking shit. No, none of that is happening. Venus moves into Leo tomorrow, and you are speaking. It's a roar. It's from deep in your heart. This is what I feel, not what I think I feel, not what I'm trying to explain to you that I feel, not what my feelings could mean, not what I can do with these feelings, not what we should do with these feelings, not how we can make money off these feelings, not how we can make art off these feelings, not how we could tell everyone in our phone book about these feelings, not how we could make a post about these feelings on Insta. No. This is how I feel. Okay? And people are gonna go, people are so not used to you having that type of conviction. You have that type of conviction about mad shit, okay? Like Angelina Jolie, typical Gemini, we love her, yes baby. She'll get up there and talk like day and night, like listen, the landmine shit, I'm not with it. The starving kids, I'm not with it. And then as soon as she starts talking about like emotions or feelings or whatever, she's just like, my mom said something to me once, tears. I adopted this child, tears. Like we just don't, we lose the ability. It's too much for us. We're just like, we just, and we're stumbling and we're crying and, all through the actor studio. Oh God, that interview, she's so great. She's so beautiful. She's at the height of her beauty, her career, everything. It's just like, whoa. And they ask her one question about her child. Boom. Her eyes fill up with tears. She doesn't really know what to say. She clams up. No. This is for me. This is mine. This is something I feel. I know this. I don't need to process this externally with you, dog. You can't fucking have this. This is mine. I know my feeling on this. Okay? I'm only sharing things with you that I need to bounce off of you. That's why, like, we're fucked up that way. Seriously. If we know our feeling about something, we're never going to tell you. That's none of your business. That's bad business to tell you that. We would never do that. Expose our weakness. Why? But right now, listen, Venus and Leo is like, fuck that. That's not a weakness. That's a power. You better speak from your heart, baby. It's like, it's every Leo friend I have. Whenever I say anything to a Leo friend of mine, literally the response, whether it's like the Persian one who's saying it, or the Pakistani one who's saying it, or the Iraqi one who's saying it, or the American one who's saying it, like literally does not matter. Every single one of them, and I love all of you, mashallah, I love you. Every single one of them, no matter what you ask them in terms of like, I need your advice, the advice is like nuanced. It's great. It's wonderful advice. But it's always like, you better speak from your heart, baby. You better tell them what's in your heart. You better do it from your heart. Like, it's doesn't even matter, man. Doesn't even, who cares? Only what's in your heart matter. Only God knows what's in your heart. Like, it's always just like, yeah, who cares? What's in your heart? What do you feel? So it's like, they're always trying to push you to be like this, but now it's like Venus is in Leo. So like, your heart is like, yeah, oh, this is what I feel. And you're just like, what the fuck am I saying right now? Like, why am I even, and everyone around you is like, wait, do you want to go do your distracted coping mechanism? Drop some money and I just get to like be there for the ride? And you're like, no, this is how I feel. And they're like, what? Fuck your feelings. Dog, do you want to go spend this money like you usually do because you're so in your own way and like so pathetic because of it? And I just like piggyback that whole thing. Yay! You want to go do that? Gemini moon, going once, going twice. You want to go do that? And you're like, I feel like you're a dick. You're like, wow, I'm like feeling like I'm speaking from my heart and my heart's saying that you're a piece of shit. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, you know how I am. I'd be jumping early. I did this already. But yeah. Oh, is it going to come to all that? Yeah. Yeah, it is going to come to all that because there are parts of you that you just can't access until you like really understand that this running away, like once you don't run away and start speaking from your heart, hopefully what I'm saying is that once that door is open, you understand that there's no going back and you can't go back and you can't pretend to go back and you just keep moving forward. And as you go further down that road, what you'll find is that there are parts of you that you just don't even have access to if what you're going to do is ignore the things that you really need to deal with. Now, if you're ignoring those things because you're afraid you're going to fail, I'm going to be honest with you. You might reach out to somebody that you think that you have like a huge history with. You might be like, no, I have a feeling. You might be really feeling yourself. It's Leo season. No, I have a feeling. You might fall on your face. I'm not saying that just because you face the thing that you are choosing to ignore, that's eating you up, that you choose to distract yourself from. I'm not saying facing it means you're going to win. I'm not saying facing it means victory. What I'm saying is facing it means that you are allowed to move on. This is for you. This is not about this other person, this thing. Fuck fuck them. Who cares? We're not worried about that. This is about you being able to move on with every other aspect of your life that you don't realize yet is stuck because this vulnerability, whatever this is that you either don't want to say, or I know I'm gonna fail, or I know I'm gonna be rejected. You have no idea. It could go either way. You might think it's in the bag as soon as you say something, and it's the exact opposite. You might think this is the furthest thing from reality that could ever happen, and then it happened. That's not the point. What I'm saying is get out of like a win-lose scenario mindset. The only reason we want to address this, be vulnerable, be proud and open, and speak from our heart, and do whatever needs to be done to get this wound looked at and addressed, we only want to do this not because of a win-lose scenario. What I'm saying is, by acknowledging it at all, you're in a win scenario. That's it. Regardless of how the actual outcome turns out, it doesn't matter. This is all black and white. The high priestess is like, can you come back here behind this black and white and just hang out with me for a second and just see that the actual issue, traditional meaning of this card, there is nothing holding you back. But the way you're thinking about this, how can anyone save you from this? And you know this is what leads to this. You know it is. How can anyone save you from something that you have done to your brain? No one can get in there. No one can tell. Only you can unstuck yourself here because it's the way you're thinking about it. And what Venus moves into Leo and shows you is like you not acknowledging whatever this is for fear of winning or losing is a form of neglect so deep and so painful and so hurtful on the daily that you have turned to every method of soothing that you can think of to bear how badly you're ignoring yourself and this huge gaping need to address whatever the fuck this is. Listen, you know one of the best things about me? Said every Gemini ever. Because I know when I'm making gold, baby. You know, Rumpelstiltskin, that motherfucker ain't shit. There's alchemy right here, baby. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You have a chance to walk through a door where you don't have to live in a world of neglect anymore. You're not, whether you were raised with it and you can't seem to get over it, which is very possible. When we're raised with neglect, all we do is continue to pick people who will neglect us because that shit feels like home. It feels like the most comfortable thing ever. Right? Everyone's like, do the breakup video again, the Mars rover. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the how to survive a breakup video again. I'm so sorry I took it down all those years ago. But it's like, it's comfortable. It's gross, but it's comfortable. And you're like, how could neglect be comfortable? Neglect is so painful. In fact, we know that it can be physically painful. Humiliation and neglect can follow the physical pain pathways. How could it be comfortable? Because if you're raised sleeping on a bed of nails sounds nice. What else do you know? You don't know nothing else. Okay? And what it does as a side effect, not even like you're trying to even do this. Like your friends are going to take it personal, your friends are going to take it personally. Like you're doing this just to like annoy them. And you're not even thinking about them. You're like stuck in your own shit over here, figuring out these big things and being like, oh my God. And meanwhile, your friends are over here real upset because their good time, look at this. Because their good time went bye-bye. And decided like, oh, I actually want to have a life. I actually want to just deal with this pain one way or another. Good win, lose, or draw. Like, can we just go? Can we just go? Because this is like, even this is getting old. And y'all are tired and lame anyway. And these friends are just like, please don't leave me behind. And you're like, bitch, I'm already gone. Poof, magician, rabbit, out the hat, you know. Take the bunny out the hat, kick it across the room. Bye. I'm gone. I'm sorry for the animal lovers. That was just a metaphor, and I would never do that to a bunny. No. Anyone who would kick a rabbit is like a truly sick individual. What the hell? Anyway, sorry, I just had that visual for a second. It was hilarious. And then I was like, no, Umber, that's not funny. Anyway, what I mean is like, poof, bitch, I'm gone. You know? Because once I realize something, bitch, I'm gone. You're talking about mutable air. I don't need even but a second. Bitch, I'm gone. I'm like the fucking wind. I'm gone. She's like the wind. Patrick Swayze said she's like the wind, dog. She's like the wind, dog. The Wicked Witch of the East. Okay, anyway. If you got that, you watch way too many. You look at too many memes. Okay. Now that we've got that out of the way, we have so much more to talk about. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Sorry. So, as crazy as it sounds, one of the coolest things that happens is that truly, that like mojo injection that you've been waiting for, no pun intended, but maybe, ha ha ha, like it actually finally comes to fruition because you're actually finally not being like a punk bitch. I'm sorry. That was funny. I couldn't resist. Because the thing is, like, this is what we're doing, and we know what we're doing it. But it's like, Leo season is like, come on, bitch, be strong. And we're like, you're right. I can do it. And as soon as we're done doing it, we're like, we look back on it. We're like, oh, my God, I was being such a punk bitch. And then, of course, as soon as you decide that everything that you've been doing this whole time to distract yourself, and even the thing you were distracting yourself from that you wanted, even that, you're like, all of this is punk bitch behavior, I'm not doing any of this. As soon as you decide I'm too good for all of this bullshit, and you see it for the misery that it's been, ha ha ha, wanna come plant some seeds with me? And you're like, ugh, I don't know, you're coming on like this, but you're kind of like that, you know, I've been down this road. But the road will appear, Gemini, is what I mean. That's what's important here. If you want to, you can get into a pretty nice relationship right now. Especially because, like, when you stop neglecting yourself, your taste in people changes. And people who, like, neglect you and that you think that makes them hot, like, I like to call it, like, the, you know, Sasuke, from Naruto. Like, if you like guys who act like they don't like you, you know what I mean? If you like guys who act like they don't like you, like Edward in the first Twilight, like if you like that, or like, I guess if you have a thing for Scorpios, I guess, it's usually because you've been neglected, and so when they like neglect you, it makes you feel like, ooh, ah, home, love, bed of needles, yay, lay me down, you know. But once you're not neglecting yourself anymore, those people seem to just like shrivel up and wither, and like all their mystique kind of just dies on them, all around them, and like kind of turns to dust, and you just see them as this kind of like overblown game playing like weirdo baby who's like too immature to just like, yeah, just be normal and have like normal like actions and reactions, you know what I mean? And you're just like, what is your fucking deal even? Like, because it's not sexy anymore. Like, ooh, ignore me, yeah, daddy. Like, it's not that anymore. Now you're like, yeah, like dad needs therapy maybe, you know what I mean? It's not like it's switching, you know, it switches. You realize that like you were attracted to some weirdo kind of like acting like a narcissist, or like posing as a narcissist weirdo who was like kind of pretending to ignore you because they got your number, baby. They figured out that you wanted to be treated like shit. Like, it gets deep, but what I'm saying is the reason it's kind of like click and you get into a relationship is because as soon as you stop neglecting yourself, guys like that just or guys, sorry, we're like so focused on guys right now. No, guys, girls, whomever that you're attracted to, like, they just fall away. They're not attracted to you. They're not attractive to you anymore because you're not doing that to yourself. So it's really easy to get into a relationship as soon as you figure this out, because you start finding other people attractive for other reasons. And those reasons are a lot more healthy. They're usually more nourishing. They're usually more grounding. And they actually make you feel good instead of, constantly keeping you in a state of anxiety and worry and doubt. Your taste switches quite radically to people who take an interest in you and know things about you and like want to know more about you and talk more to you than at you and ask you about yourself. Like things that right now you might be like, ugh, that's so corny. Once you start paying attention to yourself, you'll start to find it really attractive when other people pay attention to you too, because when you start paying attention to you, you'll realize how loved it makes you feel. And then when other people pay attention to you, you'll be like, oh my God, yeah, this makes me feel loved and beautiful. And then when someone ignores you or like plays games or whatever, you'll be like, ooh, that doesn't make me feel loved at all, because now I know what it means to, I know what that feels like for real, because, I have it for myself. And then, yeah, your taste just changes like from overnight, like from one day to the next, you're like, yeah, you're gross. And ironically, what usually happens is the gross person in question, stand in whoever you want there, generally uses that as their aha moment to be like, oh, so I know it's at least 30 minutes. To be like, oh my God, you have just catalyzed a great change in me. Thank you so much for being so real with me. Now I can like become the person you need or whatever. And it's like right when you figure out that like actually you don't want this thing, or actually like whatever you were trying to distract yourself, whatever vulnerability, like you're like, oh, this is my, bleeding wound that I can't show anybody because I'll be exposed to the world, or whatever it is that you've been running from. As soon as you're like, oh, I'm not going to run, I'm not going to neglect myself, I'm going to focus on myself, and I want to be around people who like are healthy and want to focus on themselves and focus on me too, that thing, object of desire, object of, rejection, whatever that you've been hiding from or compensating for, whatever, that thing comes back around and is like, hey, toxic much? Wanna hang in a toxic way? And you're like, what? How? Why now? Like after all this time. But if you're like, oh yeah, I got this, I can do this, and this applies to money as well. This applies to if you have to have meetings, negotiations, tax stuff, whatever it is. If you're like, oh yeah, I got this, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna dominate. Yeah, you're not going to. No. You're gonna be humble. You're gonna even maybe diminish yourself a little bit by being quiet and sitting back and watching the room. Okay? Venus in Leo is one thing. Now here's the next thing. Mars. Mars enters Gemini on August 20th. So what happens is, funnily enough, people start acting the way they think we act. Stay with me here. Not how we actually act. Okay, because people think we talk a lot, but we're not about it. But anyone who's close to us knows we're definitely about it. We get it done. So this whole like all talk, no action, jack of all trades, master of none bullshit is totally a lie. But it is the misconception that people have about Geminis. Mars moves into Gemini and everyone starts acting like that. Starts acting like a Gemini, but they're not a Gemini, so they can't talk the big shit and get it done. So they're just talking big shit, not getting anything done. You can get a lot done if you can get out of your way. If you can stop thinking whatever, who cares? Oh, it was like this, who cares? Oh, wait, who cares? This is an impossibility. Look at this. Look at this. This is an impossibility. This is not possible. It is not possible. Those cups are imaginary. They don't exist. They can't possibly. Because they're a figment of your imagination and of your memory. And your memory at this point is an imagination. It's not even real anymore. You have no idea what actually happened back then. It's just something from back then. Do you understand? They're all going to be talking bullshit and not getting anything done. And you, if you realize there's nothing in the past for you and just start moving forward, can get everything done. While everybody else is walking in circles talking their ass up about nothing. All you have to do is organize, put one foot in front of the other, and keep working. And you'll dominate and dominate and dominate effortlessly. You won't even have to, like, you know, you're cruising. Now, there are some things that you think right now are solid that might get shaky. And you have to be okay with that. And you just have to do a couple of things that are really, really important. You have to pray it up. You have to meditate it up. You have to salt bath it up. And when things start to feel like, okay, this is really unfair. One, be super humble. Talk to people. Don't try to convince them of anything. Talk to them. Tell them what's going on with you. Tell them like you tell a friend. Don't tell them with an agenda. When things start to look like they're going left, if you are humble, down to earth, honest, and don't start with the slick Gemini bullshit and running your mouth, you will prevail. Everything will be fine. You will find a way out. You will start to plant the seeds again. You can move on with your life. But as soon as this calamity is over, if you're going to go back to thinking about something from way back when that was so much better than what you have, you know, then what's the point? Who cares then? Why do all this? What I'm trying to say is, you've probably been here before a bunch of times where all you had to do was choose yourself and choose to move forward and not get stuck in the past, but you couldn't take it. So if this is about something you've been trying to heal from a lot of time, for a while, you've been here many, many times and you've made the wrong choice. Instead of going, you know, right, you've been going left. So one of the things that can happen when you start to feel like maybe the solid things that should be solid are getting shaky, one of the things that you start to feel is like this recklessness growing inside you. Like, I want to be stupid, I want to be reckless, I want to burn it down, I want to throw everything away. And you absolutely, Gemini, cannot do that. You cannot do it no matter what. You cannot do it. You have worked too hard. You have come too far. I know you're frustrated. I know unfair things are going to happen. I know that if you keep a cool head and you reason with people, even when it looks like it's not going to work out, inshallah, it's going to work out. Inshallah, it's going to work out. But you cannot set fire to everything and do the Joker, like, I'm just lighting my half. I'm just setting my half on fire. I'm just burning my half. You're not doing that. We're not doing this. It's not Joker time. Do not freak out. Do not throw everything away. Because some shit might happen that may make you want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying we're preparing for every scenario. But it's like certain things really set us off. Certain things, people don't really get what those things are, which I think is hilarious. Because if you paid attention for more than 5 fucking minutes, you would know. But okay, whatever. Certain things just really set us off. And we go 0 to like completely fucking insane. I'll burn everything down. You don't fucking know me. Real fast. Okay. So let's not do that. Because if you do that, all that hard work you've been doing is for nothing. And if things have been hard lately, stop doing this whole
this is my fault thing. Okay. And I think that's it. Everything else we'll talk about in the extended. One of the things that I leave you with here is that while you're learning how to not be manipulative and not convince people of anything and not have an agenda and just speaking from your heart, you are going to encounter a lot of people who are going to try to sweet talk you or kind of pull you back into this lifestyle way of thinking, whatever it is that's super beneficial to them and not at all beneficial for you. You are allowed to have a heart, and you're allowed to speak from it, and you're allowed to be received. With great grace for it. It's time to move on. It's time to get going. What lies ahead, I have no way of knowing. But under my feet, baby, the grass is growing. It's time to move on. It's time to get going. I love you. I'll see you in the extended. Although this is probably the extended times 3. I'll see you in the extended.